Hi everyone, this is Edna Keboy coming back to you again. I know we have not made any videos for a while. That's because I just kind of took time away from making videos and concentrate on living my authentic life and raising my two beautiful girls. So I actually decided to make a video because I lately, in the last, let's say six months to 8 months, I have learned a few things that are interesting about relationships and attachment styles. Up until then, honestly, I didn't know much about attachment styles until I read this book by Dyers Gibson. It's called Attachment Theories. It's a guide to strengthen your relationships in life. And that we're not talking about just romantic relationships, even relationships with your families, relationship with your children. A lot of our childhood experiences, from what I learned from this book and what I've learned about attachment styles, is really the key to how you relate to everybody in your life, right? And it's gonna build your relationships as a child, your attachment as a child, your upbringing as a child, kind of shapes what kind of a person you're gonna be and what kind of relationship you're gonna have later on in life. And that is really important because of when you look around, there's a lot of issues with conflict in relationships, in marriage, in relationships with families, and most of it is stemmed from our childhood traumas. And when I say trauma, it's not necessarily a sense of extreme, like we were abused or anything. It's just how we were brought up as a child. I have learned there's several attachment styles. I'm going to kind of refer you to the book. I think it's something you can actually just Google and read about attachment styles. And many people have actually discussed this topic in length. But P.S. Gibson has really broken down different attachment styles in a book. You can either read it or listen to it in audio. And in a book, she actually guides you to how you can live with people with different attachment styles. And it's important really to learn what type of attachment style you have to be able to relate to people in your life, or to know what triggers you in relationships, right? So let me break it down to two major attachment styles. There are definitely subgroups in those two really different attachment styles, but I'm gonna just summarize it into what they call avoidant group attachment style and anxiously attached group attachment styles. And I learned I have an avoidant attachment style. Let me just kind of break that down a little bit for you. If you are a person that kind of grew up in a more independent type of childhood, like I went to boarding school practically all my life, and I was raised by nuns. I was taught how to be self-reliant, how to self-soothe. Of course, I was the first of 5 children, and that meant, and we were very close in age, of course, and that meant really, when you think about it, my mom concentrated on raising all the other children, and it was the oldest. I had to kind of fit into the family unit by being the leader, sort of, right? So I have learned to solve my problems. I've learned to soothe myself. I've learned to be like, hey, if something goes wrong, or if I have a problem, I need to learn how to solve that problem. And this was probably compounded by me going to boarding schools and learning to be very independent and very self-reliant. Because of course, when you're in boarding school, you have to learn how to deal with your issues and solve your own problems. And that really developed my attachment style, which is very avoidant. And over time, when I feel like people are relying on me too much, I tend to pull away. And then the other attachment style are people that were very cuddled, very soothed. They always had somebody there to solve their problem, pick them up when they fall. These are kids that are very cuddled, right? And they tend to be very attached. So when they get into adulthood and they get into relationship with their adulthood, they feel that they need somebody there to be able to function. And then, so you can only imagine now somebody like me that is very self-reliant, very avoidant, saying, I need somebody to be independent, deal your thing, and then we can merge and be partnership. I look at relationship as partnership versus me taking care of somebody else. And then you have this other person that is very attached, needs somebody else to be able to function. Those two attachment styles don't go together. So when you actually go into the dating world or relating to people, you see these two different attachment styles clashing at all. Because me as an avoidant I want you to be able to independently function on your own. I don't want you to rely on me, because when you rely on me, I feel suffocated. I feel you're putting too much pressure on me. While the anxious attached person feels like I need to be attached to somebody to be able to function. And that attachment, when they're dealing with an avoidant personality person, they tend to feel like, hey, this person doesn't care about me because they are not feeling attached. They're not feeling cared for. They're not feeling like that person is there for them. But it's not that. It's just two different attachment styles. So I think it's important as human beings to really learn what your attachment style is, so that you can know, especially so that you can know the things that triggers you about another person or about being in a relationship with another person. And I've just had the pleasure of dealing with a lot of personalities in the last 4 years that I've self-evaluated myself and looked at myself internally, and I'm like, what are the things about this person or this relationship or this group of people that really repels me as a person? And when I was trying to discover that, I started learning about different attachment styles. I learned that I am a very avoidant person. I like to do things on my own. I don't like when I feel like somebody is heavily relying on me. And that is a good thing, to be self-aware, right? It's important for you to be self-aware, to be actually, when you look at the world right now, relationships are breaking left and right. We have a divorce rate that is over 50%, and you wonder why. Of course, there's so many multifactorial things that are affecting our family unit systems now, but the biggest thing is also to look internally at yourself and ask yourself, what is it about me that makes me either gravitate towards a certain group of a personality or rebel from a certain group of a personality of people. And one of the biggest things that I've learned is learning what kind of attachment style you have, so that you can be able to surround yourself with people that attracts your type of personality, or be able to adjust when you have somebody like that is overly anxiously attached. How do you communicate with this person? How do you deal with the people that are heavily dependent on somebody else, without necessarily looking at them like, hey, I just don't want to be around you because you're overly attached. Maybe it's just a matter of sitting down and discussing and talking about what are the things that makes you safe as a person, and what are the things that make me safe as a person, and what are the things that repel me as a person, what are the things that repels you as a person. And I think once we figure that out in relationships, we can be able to find the right matches for us and the right people to surround ourselves with. And this is also when you're dealing with your own family unit as well. You'll learn that some kids are very I have 4 other siblings, there's 5 of us, and just looking at all our personalities, there are a few of us that are very have an attachment personality and others that are a little bit of an avoidant, and that kind of brings a lot of clashes. Or as the avoidance looking at their attachment style people in a very judgmental way, why are they doing this? But once you understand why they feel so attached to other people and why they let other people make decisions for them, it's going to make you a little more empathetic, a little more tolerant towards the other attachment group. So that is really the big thing I've learned in the last really a few months, or let's say the last year of my life, is my attachment style. That has been so interesting. I've been just listening and learning a lot about attachment style, and that's maybe it's going to help me further on as I go in my journey of this life to find the people that align with my type of personality, or be tolerant towards people that are not of my type of personality. That being said, I wish you all a happy Sunday. Have a wonderful week. God bless, and always be kind to each other. Talk to you later.